Welcome back, everyone, to 31 Days of Halloween on the Calvin Cam podcast, the podcast where we talk about everything spooky and chilling. I'm Anthony, and today we have Re-Animator, so let's get into it. All right, we are back, and Calvin is, again, missing an MIA. I'm sorry, guys, but life got in the way, and he had things he had to take care of, so once again, I'm on my second solo episode. I did one previously. It was Phantasm. So if you want to check that one out, it is on our channel. Anyways, today we have Re-Animator, and Re-Animator is also known as H.P. Lovecraft's Re-Animator. It is a 1985 comedy horror film loosely based on a 1922 H.P. Lovecraft serial novelette, Herbert West Re-Animator. Directed by Stuart Gordon, produced by Brian Usna. The film stars Jeffrey Combs as Herbert West, a medical student who has invented a reagent that can reanimate the deceased bodies. He and his classmate, Dan Kane, played by Bruce Abbott, begin to test serum on dead human bodies and have a conflict with Dr. Carl Hill, which is played by David Gale, who is infatuated by Kane's fiancée. He wants to claim the invention as his own. So Re-Animator is, it's kind of a cult film. It is really good. It basically pays homage to its movies like Frankenstein and The Brain That Wouldn't Die. This movie is goofy. It also is really good. It has a really good story. The cast is really good. Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton and Bruce Abbott. I mean, these are the main actors in the movie. I think they had really good acting in this movie, especially Kane, which is basically Bruce Abbott, and Barbara Crampton is his fiance. And the movie starts off a medical institute in Sweden, and Herbert West is, he's got a doctor he's been studying under, I guess, dies, and he brings him back to life. The cops are trying to break down his door, and basically they break down his door, and he's trying to bring him back, and he just dies. So anyways, he's transferred to a medical facility in Arkham, Massachusetts, and he's trying to study, again, reanimation, and he's just a medical student. He gets a room with Kane, and he basically starts doing medical reanimation procedures. He starts with the cat, which is funny. There's the whole scene with the cat, and that's pretty cool. The practical effects in this movie are really good. They're good in certain ways. There's the whole corpse reanimation at the end of the movie, which is really good. There's a whole thing with the doctor, Carl Hill. He basically, there's a scene where he takes a shovel and kills him, Herbert West, and there's this talking head that he reanimates with the serum, and it's just funny. It's really good with the practical effects in that one. But we'll continue with the story here. So basically gets Herbert West to stay with him. He does stuff on the cat, and then he tries to convince Daniel Kane to, like, yeah, this is something I want to move forward with. Look, we can reanimate corpses. We'll be famous and all that stuff. And it's a whole story that goes wrong. They basically try to reanimate a corpse that's a big giant, like, burly guy, like steroids. He basically kills the dean of the school, which is played by Robert Sampson. And basically Barbara Crampton is basically his daughter. So we have a whole thing with that. Then they basically, he dies because the corpse goes crazy. They reanimate the dean's corpse, and then we have this whole situation with the dean's corpse, and it's just a really good story overall. So they do that, and then you have then later on in the film, after they reanimate it, Dr. Carl Hill finds out about, the serum and Herbert West's, and they do a little thing. Dan Kane's in their apartment in the basement, and then he goes upon himself to lobotomize the dean, and he wants to take credit for all of Herbert West's work. And he's like, I'm just gonna take this. And he's weird too. He's kind of a hypnotist too. Hypnotized the dean in one scene, and then he does it to Herbert West in the basement, Jeffrey Combs. But yeah, it's a goofy movie, and in the end sequence, basically they reanimate all these corpses, and there's some sort of I don't know what he did, but he has some sort of telepathy with all the corpses. Like he can speak to all of them and make them move and act. And in the end, basically, Herbert West throws Dr. Hill against the wall. He tries to like reanimate his body again, and his intestines like pull him in, and then all the corpses in there, like they release some gas, or there was a gas leak, and Herbert West dies. But Megan, which is played by Barbara Crampton, and Daniel Cain, they get out of the building, and they have a corpse chasing them, and it grabs Megan and starts choking her, and basically Daniel goes to get an axe from the hallway. He goes down the hallway and tries to like save her life, but inevitably the corpse strangles his girlfriend and she dies. So basically, he tries to reanimate her with the serum that Herbert West left in his bag. He's like, take my notes before he dies. He's like, take my notes. He takes the bag, and he tries to reanimate his girlfriend, which he does. And he basically says, I love you. And then it screams and the movie ends. So yeah, the movie was really good. I would definitely give this movie, I would give it 4 stars. The story is well grounded with all the characters. The acting was really well done in this movie. The practical effects with the corpses and the corpse running around, Dr. Hill's corpse with just the head. Yeah, it's a solid movie to watch, and I definitely recommend this one. And yeah, we can get into some fun facts now about this movie. So give me 1 second. I'll bring up those fun facts. Number 1, we have David Bowie worked with the cinematographer Mac Alderhard on The Greatest Story Ever Told, parts 1 and 2 in 1991. During the filming, Bowie found out that Einberg had shot The Re-Animator. He excitedly ran up to Einberg and asked him if it was true. And Einberg said, yes, it was. Bowie replied, that's my favorite film. So that's a cool one with Dave Bowie. Stuart Gordon and Dennis Polite were originally intended to be a faithful to H.P. Lovecraft's story, but the film ultimately had little common story with the story, had little common interest with the story, which was intended to be a parody of Frankenstein. H.P. Lovecraft never really liked his Re-Animator stories, and he wrote them only because he got $5 per installment. That is a funny one. That's all I have for Re-Animator. This was a quick overview of this movie. It's a really good film. It's a cult classic. It has a couple of sequels. The sequels being The Bride of the Re-Animator in 1990 and Beyond Re-Animator in 2013. So, yeah, go watch those. They're part of the whole Re-Animator franchise. Yeah, so this is going to do it on this episode. It was short. Like I said, Calvin will be back tomorrow for the next episode. But if everyone could like and subscribe on YouTube, that would definitely help us out. Thanks for watching, and bear with my my solo episodes here. So take care, everyone, and have a good night.
Thank you all so much for watching the Calvin Cam podcast. You can find us on any social media platforms like Instagram or Twitter. Go check our podcast out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Amazon Music. We also have YouTube channel, the Calvin Cam. Go over there, hit that like and subscribe button, and follow us there. As well as you can now really support us on Patreon.com. It's probably the best place to support us. So you can go there, join one of our 3 tiers, and help us get bigger and better, and we will appreciate you every step of the way. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a good night.